Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica Wolf, and what I talk about on this channel is mostly about keto and transitioning to carnivore. Now, my journey with keto started over 10 years ago, and then this summer I decided to switch to carnivore. And my main reasons for switching to carnivore was because I was struggling to lose weight. The things I had tried in the past weren't working, and I didn't have nearly as much energy as I had in the past, and I was noticing the amount of focus that I used to have, this huge mental clarity that I used to have on keto, I wasn't experiencing anymore. So that's one of the reasons I thought about switching to carnivore. And I also had this inkling that I might have a thyroid problem. And I was doing research how being carnivore or doing an autoimmune protocol would help with thyroid issues. So I gave carnivore a try. And after 6 weeks of being on carnivore, I did a blood thyroid test and found out I pretty much have very borderline hypothyroidism. There's additional tests that I can run, but the doctor said you need to do a strict autoimmune protocol and eliminate mainly a strict carnivore and elimination. And some of the reasons, a lot of people have been asking, well, how do you know like thyroid issues are so hard to narrow down? Well, some of it has to do with, depending on your issues, you'll be recommended to different specialists and different doctors to help solve some of these problems. Because I've had significant fatigue over the last at least year, where I just have a day I had no energy. And it is so unlike me to just for a whole day have no energy unless I'm sick. That was another thing. I was getting sick more often. Through all of school, I only missed like one day of school because of being sick. So this being sick multiple times a year and having colds was unfamiliar territory for the last couple of years. And then I started reading a book about the thyroid and it was the power of the thyroid. And it talked about hypothyroidism and different things that you might experience. And I did a self-assessment, and just some of the top things were on there. It was talking about significant fatigue. I'm like, yep, this is completely unusual, unnormal, where doctors are like, oh, some of that's just part of getting older. No, it's not. One of the things I thought was a good thing, I didn't sweat as much when I exercised. I thought that was a good thing. No, apparently that's another sign of hypothyroidism. My nails have always been brittle, broken, easily peeled all the time. That's another sign. And I've had that like ever since I was a kid. Another thing, having a red face while exercising. Okay, so I've always had a red face. There's times I've had a red face and my ears started turning purple. And I remember I'd be working out with my brother in high school, and he'd be like, are you okay? Because your ears look like they're going to turn, your ears are turning purple. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just needed to take a little bit of a break. But that's another sign that I would have never thought of. Having major weight gain is another sign, which I thought it was just me going under the stress and getting older, because I kept getting told it's because you're getting older. And I thought it was because additional stress from going through a divorce, and I thought that was it. Well, that could be another sign of hypothyroidism. And having severe, dry, cracked skin. Now, my hands and my fingers dry out every winter. It gets dry. They get dry and they crack. And I got to the point where I was putting liquid Band-Aid on. It was almost like I got paper cuts. They were so dry and they crack. Well, my heels would do the same thing. And I didn't really start researching more about hypothyroidism until I saw a video that Dr. Carnivore put out talking about hypothyroidism. And he talked about the cracks in your heels of your feet. And I'm like, oh, that is something I have suffered with for so long that I've never understood. I've had a chiropractor tell me, oh, that means that's digestive issues. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I need more information. And so that was another big sign that I'm like, that's something I have been struggling with for how long, and never thought it would be associated with hypothyroidism. And another thing that I've noticed really more in the last couple of years is I feel like I'm always cold, or at least colder than everybody else. And sometimes it's all day long. Sometimes it's just the transition from hot to an air-conditioned room. It just that immediate shock I can't handle. Sometimes it's so much that it gives me stomach issues. I don't like going shopping in the summer because there's times I walk in, the cold air hits me and I need to go to the bathroom, and then I'm cold. It takes me forever to warm up. I'd be in my sauna and be like, this is awesome, because I don't actually start sweating usually in the sauna until I'm in there for at least 20 minutes. And I have other people that are like dripping in sweat in 10. I'm like, yeah, that's another sign. So with finding out and that borderline hypothyroidism, I have a whole new reason of switching to carnivore and sticking to it more strictly, because the first 8 weeks, and I've done weekly videos on my check-ins, and I admit when I go off, but I have been very strict since the 1st of September when I started, after I got that diagnosis. Hey, we're going to do this. So I'm doing this for 3 months. So September, October, and November. And then I'm going to get tested again and get those results to see how things improved and what my next steps are. And I'm also going to be doing an antibodies test that tests for like Hashimoto's. So my reason for originally going on carnivore and my reasons for sticking, some of those are the same, but it's more purposeful, and I'm being much more mindful. In the beginning, it wasn't as big of a deal if I would have thought, oh, I'll have a drink, or I was putting not stevia, but I was using sugar substitutes occasionally. And now that's something I cannot have. So although I started on carnivore and had so much already eliminated by using the autoimmune protocol, I've eliminated a few more things, and they've been big triggers. The sugar substitutes, dairy have both been kind of hard. The hardest is eggs and not having eggs. But I'm like, if I can do it for 3 months, eggs are one of the first things I can add in. So that's after 3 months, I'll be able to start adding things back in depending on my test results. So as I'm going through this, I'm sticking to it much more strictly than I originally was on carnivore, because I want to try my best to avoid being on any medications. Now, most people that switch to carnivore, many times that they're switching because they want to get off or they want to avoid medications. So I'm in that segment where I want to avoid being on any type of medications as long as I possibly can. Now, I'm still looking at, I do have more energy. When I did the transfer, when I took eggs and dairy and sugar substitutes out, those were the 3 things that I probably was still eating. When I took those things out, I did notice I had some rough weeks. One really bad one where I was just emotionally felt crazy, and I probably week and a half, 2 weeks where I was extremely tired and sleeping 10, 12 hours. I'm down to more like 10 hours and not so much 12 hours. I'm not having to take naps in the afternoon anymore. I'm gaining, my energy is coming back. I'm so thankful. I am still losing weight, actually a little bit more than I was previously. So I'm feeling good about that. And I've noticed I have more clarity in the mornings than I did previously. So I'm kind of tracking my results, and I track so many things, but I have nap to track a lot of the stuff. And I've had more days where I'm able to focus and concentrate easier in the mornings. I'm more of a morning person as far as concentrating, getting things done. And I'm able to concentrate more in the mornings than I have for the last couple months. So that's the improvement that I've been seeing so far. And I have more of a reason now about why I'm going carnivore and why I'm sticking to this diet and why I'm not doing cheat days. I have more of a reason now than I did before, when it was mainly for feeling better and energy. Now it's all those same things, except for I don't want to be on any medications and I don't want to go down that road. So hypothyroidism is one of the most undiagnosed diseases that happen, and more so for women over 35, because you get the standard response of you're going through changes, your body, you're getting older, and it doesn't even get tested. Actually, when it does get tested, they usually test the TSH levels. Well, my TSH levels were normal. When I did the full thyroid panel, it was the other 3 indicators show that I have hypothyroidism. So if you have any of the same symptoms, or you have a friend that has some of these same symptoms that I've had, I highly suggest they get their full thyroid panels tested. And so please share this video. And I have a video on those thyroid panels, what it entailed and who I went through, if that's something they're interested in. If you want more of these updates, please subscribe to my channel and share this to anyone you think this might help. Thank you.